There we are, twice in money.
Oh, hey.
I'm lucky.
Earning you up.
Good evening and welcome to you all to our town centre committee meeting. The first thing that I am to do is to make the following statement. This meeting is being visually and audio recorded for publication on the Thatcham Town Council YouTube channel. Just have that in the backs of your minds, whatever it is you're inclined to say. Right, item one, apologies for absence.
Chairman, apologies received from, excuse me, Councillor Ellen Crumley, with Councillor Richard Crumley appointed as substitute, and also from Councillor Christine Rice.
Thank you very much.
And Councillor Lee Dillon has been struck down by the dreaded lurgy, COVID, so I give his apologies on his behalf.
Thank you very much indeed. Item two, declarations of interest. Does anybody have a declarable interest in any of the items on this agenda?
No.
Thank you. Item three, minutes. We've got two sets of minutes to deal with. The first is the meeting that was on the 15th of November 2021. And that was held in the council chamber. Is there anybody prepared to propose them as a true record?
I'm happy to so propose.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Cromley.
Happy to second.
Thank you very much indeed, Councillor Lister. Those in favour?
On there.
And that is passed. And item B is the minutes of the video conference meeting which we held on the 10th of January. Again, do I have a proposal that we accept these as being a true record? Thank you, Councillor Louis, and seconded David. Thank you. Those in favour? Item 4, Madam Clerk.
Nothing from me, Chairman.
Thank you very much. Is there anything that anybody particularly wants to raise at this moment?
No.
Thank you very much. Item 5 is income expenditure costs. If you go to the page after the minutes, then you'll get the items where the costings and spend are shown. Are there any items you want to bring to our attention, Madam Clerk?
There isn't, Chairman. There's nothing new to add to other items that have been previously discussed. There's been not a great deal of expenditure since.
Is there anybody that's got any questions?
Proposed noted, sir.
Thank you. And is that seconded? Thank you. And those in favour? Thank you. Item 6, the Welcome Back Fund. Madam Clerk, your name is against the item if you tell us where we stand at the moment with the Welcome Back Fund. This is one of these things where it's been so long since we've sort of had a normal life going on that I perhaps should just make a comment that because we were in the European Union for the appropriate budget year, although we had left the European Union gave or allocated money to the UK government for helping us to bounce back from COVID, and that came down to council level under a thing called the Welcome Back Fund, and we bid for money under the Welcome Back Fund and were awarded it. And I think this is the point where, Madam Clerk, if you could just tell us where we're up to at the moment.
Thank you, Chairman. So it's been quite frantic the last few weeks finalising this, because it all does have to be completed by the 31st of March. So just to run through the actions, it was decided not to go ahead with the online directory, but the map has been produced and that is currently at the printers. So hopefully this week we will have 1,000 the history trail maps to start distributing around the town. Ignore these costs because these need to be updated. The benches, hopefully you will have seen, have all been refurbished. They have been repainted and are looking very good. We have bought several deck chairs, which you may have seen a photograph of the mayor trying out on Friday. So we have 20 deck chairs and one giant deck chair. Recycling bins are imminent. There's 6 of those that will be installed in the Broadway. Themed market is the spring market happening on Saturday, the 26th of March. And you should be getting more details about that from our events manager shortly. Hopefully some of you may have seen the bollards in the high streets. They've now got their artwork sort of cones on them. I think it was really good. The bunting is up in the high street, in the Broadway and around the toilets. Christmas has gone. We've been fortunate enough to get a really good array of equipment that's going to help at future events. A few gazebos, camera and recording equipment, outdoor staging, all sorts of bits and pieces, which is fantastic. That was incorporated into another one. The enhancements, you will have seen that the hedging has gone and has been replaced with a lovely aspen rail fence and new hedging planted immediately in front of it. There's returfing is happening this week, so some of the grass is being returfed. The toilets have been repainted on the outside and are being repainted on the inside this week. And the lighting column flags are just waiting on our Dispatch Council officer to give the final nod that they can be installed, but they've all been produced and they look fabulous. So we're almost there, Chairman.
That's really nice.
I think it would be appropriate to say that a lot of work has gone in from a lot of people, but particularly and notably from our events manager and from the clerk and from her team. And I think we owe a debt of gratitude and thank you very much indeed.
I mean, I'd just like to say, you stole my thunder. I was going to say exactly that the officers and of course the town clerk particularly are thanked for getting this done so quickly and on time. The only thing that I would like to go beyond is if we could find out who within the European Union we could actually send a letter of thanks. And I'm willing to go and have a look around, see if we can find somebody, but really this is marvellous, and it shows you the things that they could contribute to our local town. I think that we should be very grateful because it has made a huge difference. We've seen, I mean, I walked past there and it looks like new. It's gratifying, and when that new lawn comes in, I think it's going to be at its best, as it has been for many, many years.
Yeah, sorry, I saw a number of hands go up. Councillor Crumley.
Thank you, Chairman. I was delighted to hear of this EU grant, even though we're not a member anymore. There's no sting in the tail here that it's repayable at some
No, we have to rejoin apparently.
Yes.
We're doing better if we join.
Well, we were, but won't go there now.
Yes, quite genuinely, it is the bit that made it happen was that even though we had left the EU, the money that it was coming from was money that's been taken from the contributions that we made when we were in the EU, and it all fell into the right budget years and all the rest of it. So it's sort of strange, but it absolutely, I know we're not going to be asked to repay.
I think we fell on our feet.
Yes. Well, Councillor.
Thank you, Chair. Just to reiterate what other councillors have said, but also to say that coming up the high street today and seeing that art installation around the bollards, I think at a time like this, when everything is so very serious, it's nice to have something in the town that just lifts people's spirits, and I think it's, you know, I'd like to say thanks for that, as well as for the, you know, the general polishing up of the town centre.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are there other comments? I think in that case, I think we've said it all. Thank you very much indeed. Item 7, the public toilets. Madam Clerk. I sort of turn to you just to step us through where we're at the moment.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. So members may recall at the last meeting, it was reported that there had been a couple of leaks over the Christmas break. These were repaired, but we were advised that the pipe work and systems would need replacing across the board. So we have got the quote for that now, and it's £1,338. And that could be funded from still receipts if members would wish.
Is that something that we are in a position to approve tonight?
Please, Chairman.
Do I have a proposition from anybody that we should indeed go ahead and do this?
Yes, indeed. I think vital. Propose, so propose.
Do we have a seconder? Is that Councillor Curry? And those that are in favour? Yeah, thank you very much indeed. And item B, the recommendations that came from the meeting with the BTA. Most of it, I think, is covered by the work which is going on at the moment, isn't it? The painting and redecorating, deep cleaning and so on.
Yes, Chairman. So I've updated the spreadsheet that members will find in their pack. The investigation work on the ventilation is ongoing. Bio blocks, that's now happening regularly. The deep clean has been completed. Repainting, as we say, is underway. The accessibility assessment, we're still waiting for the quote to come in for that, so we are chasing that. No update as yet on changing places. And the CCTV installation on that is imminent, I believe, possibly even this week.
That's marvellous. Thank you very much indeed. Changing places, for anybody that doesn't already know, is a government scheme. Changing places is quite an expensive scheme, but it's allowing that are disabled, but that's maybe adults as well as just youngsters and children, to be able to go in and have equipment which is safe and is designed for adults as well as for children, and also ensuring there's enough space. I think from memory we're looking at something like 6 figures for the kind of expense which is involved, and I think that every major council, West Branch for us, is allowed to bid for 1 or 2 of them, something like that. So we're there, we're in the process, but whether it will actually be coming to us or not at this time, we don't know. But if it does, then I think it would be a marvellous boon to the town to know that people that are severely disabled and perhaps adult will still be able to have proper facilities that they can have access to which they can have access. Yeah. I think that covers 7A and 7B. Are there any questions or other points?
I'd just like to say, while proposing that we note it, that this is a marvellous spring clean for the whole of the town centre. We've had the green, we've had the bollards, we've now got the toilets on the inside and the outside. I think it just comes at the right time. It lifts, I don't know about you, but it lifts my spirit to just walk around thinking, gosh, this is as good as it looks after. I've been here for 35 years and I think it's and all down to the money by the European Union and our officers as well. So duly noted, Chairman.
Thank you very much indeed. Are there any other comments? In that case, can we move to item 8, which is the Victoria Cross Memorial Stones? I think around this table, we all know the long and jagged story. Effectively, we were getting ourselves ready to protect the stone, the VC stones, by lifting them up from their position on the ground, where they took a lot of footfall and also some damage from such things as the stands for the market stalls. And I think we were getting very close to deciding what we were going to do and how we were going to do it. And then COVID struck. And literally for 2 years, this has just sat on the back burner without being really in a position to do anything very much. the time has come, as we are hopefully coming properly out of COVID, the time has come to bring this back to a major issue that needs to be done to properly commemorate those that won the VC and to ensure that we have a long-term solution where we don't have to come back to it a second or a third time. I think this will be enough. I'm happy to take any comments from any members of the committee, of course, but I'd like to make a proposition from the chair, and that is that we reconstitute our old VC working party for some very, very long, prolonged process, but to have likely sitting at the table and able to work out exactly what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And if my proposal finds favour with the committee, then what we will do is I would suggest 3 members of the town council, 3 members invited from the Royal British Legion, Nathan Gregory, because he's somebody who's put an immense amount of work into establishing the names that should be on the war memorial, and has a considerable knowledge as to what would be good ways to move forward. And certainly if we felt there were others that should be on it, then that I'd be happy for that to be the case. But I don't want it to be an extraordinarily large group of people. It's not to be a talking shop. It's to be an ideas creation shop, which will then feed back to this committee, so this committee can go ahead and actually implement the reciting of the memorial stones. So that's the proposition I'd like to make. Would it find a seconder, please?
Can I talk to or ask a question?
Can I take the seconding and then we'll have the questions? Were you seconding?
Yes, certainly, but after Councillor Cromley has put his points.
My question, if I may, Chairman, about paragraph 2 background, penultimate paragraph is talking as if it's already been decided the VC stone should remain in the Broadway but displayed on a plinth. Is the working party to focus upon that proposition, or does it have a wider remit to consider other places and other venues for the VC stones?
The comment that I've made, the response I've made, is that there was a great deal of work went in to that VC working party, and that was where we had got to. Now, 2 years is a long time, and memories grow dim, and maybe there are better ideas out there. I would not want to be the person that said that was how far we got, and we've got to proceed from that place. And no, you won't be allowed to look to left or to right. But I do think there would be a grave danger if we just went back and started from scratch, and as if we've not done as much work as we had done in trying to assess what we could have as a viable solution.
I agree, Chairman. My recollection, and maybe we need to look back in our notes, but my recollection is that we had generally decided that we were going to keep them, and certainly after talking to the British Legion and objections by the Memorial Hall, that we were definitely going to keep them in the town centre upon the green area. My recollection is that we were looking, and it is 2 years ago, is that it was going to be raised on a plinth because we were very concerned about the environmental impact on the stones. And I think many, including the public, felt that it was a matter of respect that we take them from the ground where they are getting hard work. It's not abuse, it's a lot of hard work of the market, of people's, of bicycles, of mopeds even, and of stalls and things like that. Because to me, I think it was a logical conclusion, because that's where the majority of people will see them. let's be honest, not a lot of people walk out, especially to the War Memorial down the road. This is where the hub of our activity of our town is, and it's where it's more likely to be seen. But I wait, see if there are any other comments from other councillors on that. But that's how I recollect it.
Thank you. I think my recollection is
Yeah.
pretty much the same. We have a proposal, it's been seconded. Are there other councillors who wish to speak? Councillor Pine.
Yeah, so grateful for the second document which shows examples of ways of mounting the stones. And I just say, I suspect I won't be a member of the group working party, that all of them seem very satisfactory to me as options.
Thank you. If we go ahead and we do accept the vote, which I think we probably are going to do, I don't see any particular reason why you necessarily shouldn't be a member of the.
Just looking at the history of the Working Party before, and you've got more connections with the town centre, that's probably, and how many other things I'm on.
Okay, right. Can we move to a vote in that case, please? Those in favour to be. I think that's unanimous. So we are now reconstituting a BC working party, and I would like to suggest that we adopt the model of 3 town councillors, inviting the Royal British Legion to contribute 3 individuals, and to invite Mr. Nathan Gregory by name to join the group. Is that?
Well, that's my understanding. What you propose, Chair.
Oh, I see. You thought, yeah. If we've literally covered that in our original vote, fine. In that case, can I have volunteers?
May I ask a question? Who was on the?
Oh my golly!
Do we know who the members of the working party would be logical to?
I think Richard and I were.
Chair, as it's mentioned in the attachment on the first page, it's Councillors Boyd and Jeffrey.
Thank you.
I would suggest, Chairman, that we keep those as long as they're willing to continue.
I certainly am. Thank you. And you, Councillor Family.
I'd be glad to attend if.
And as the mayor, it would be quite suitable for the mayor to
And I think
be there as well.
totally appropriate to have the mayor on there. So those will be our 3.
Volunteered in.
Now, since we can all see you, we're aware that there are 3 members of the Royal British Legion sat here in the meeting and observing. Be perfectly happy if any of you would like to speak on this issue to hear what you have to say, or are you content just that we go ahead and the RBL will get the invitation to nominate 3 people to be?
Yeah, no, I think I'm quite happy to, we're quite happy to accept. Thank you.
And thank you very much indeed. And that's how we will proceed. And we'll just make the invitation separately to Mr. Nathan Gregory. Richard.
So the working party has to meet and come up with a proposal, maybe down to voting. Is everybody going to have the same vote, or is it just the what town councillors on for the working party?
Forgive me. I think that if we're not pretty much coming to a common conclusion, then the working party hasn't achieved an awful lot. If it's just a question of the council has the right to do it, correct, it does. But if we were using our right to do it and we're flying in the face of what the RBL want or any identified view in the community, then I don't think that wouldn't be very good. So I think in the working party, it's not so much a vote, it's actually trying to find a solution that everybody can be content with.
Point of information, Chairman. I think it comes back as a recommendation to this committee.
And it would come back as a recommendation to this committee.
Yes,
yes,
of course.
Okay, thank you.
Please,
Chairman, yeah, for those I've never met before, Swanley John Sharp, I'm Secretary of the Legion. What I'd like to say really is very simple. What the Legion wants is what's best for this town and what's best for the Stones. So I don't think there's going to be very much conflict. And certainly, as far as the Legion is concerned, what we want to see is those individuals properly honoured. And we're, as a branch, really grateful that town council has supported that. And it will be, as far as we're concerned, where we got to last time. We're looking at the centre. Now, there are implications as far as a war memorial is concerned. In fact, what you can do in a war memorial garden, you need to die in conflict. And two of those members of one of EC did not die in contact in conflict. So technically, they would not be entitled to go into the war memorial area. We don't want to see the VCs split. So the obvious place to us as a branch is in the town centre. We just need to decide how in the centre. But you will get, I'm sure I talked on behalf of the chairman and the vice chairman, you will get our cooperation, I can assure you of that.
Thank you very much indeed, John. That's very much appreciated. I think, have we concluded everything that you need out of that? We go to item 9, which is the town centre action plan. And are there any updates that we have on the action plan at the moment? Is this going to go up on the screen?
I hope so. I've got a big enough piece of paper to get it on.
Oh, it's just coming. It's arriving.
It's warming up, is it? Those valves, they take a long time, don't they?
Okay, so I've completed column E here with updates for this meeting, and the ones with any information to note I've highlighted in yellow so we can see those. So as I've already reported, the Welcome Back to Funding projects is nearing completion. The Promote Shop Local, we will be doing a monthly promotion of a town centre business. Excuse the spelling mistake on business there. And that will be starting this month. And we'll also be using all the relevant hashtags for Shop Local. So that will be coming to our social media very soon. The artwork in the empty shops, it was agreed at the last meeting that councillors would identify shop units and obtain details of landlords. So I haven't received any.
We won't ask for a hands up as to who's but maybe the chairman, as a retired person, could go and take that particular task on and get in there. Yeah.
As we said earlier, the bunting is up, the street bollard artwork is well, it's now up, it went up on Friday, and spring market is happening on the 26th of March. We will be putting up hanging baskets. We had hoped to do them sort of round about now, but we were advised that the content of the baskets wouldn't really be worth it. So we're going to hold off and do a nice spring and summer hanging basket display.
Away from the frosts.
Yes. Yeah. Bins, as we said, are imminent. Deck chairs purchase, refurbished, nearing completion. You may not have seen because it was probably getting dark when you arrived this evening, but the pathway in the garden actually is also nearing completion. All it is waiting for now is its resin bound surface, which is happening this week, and then we will be landscaping it. So hopefully from next week that garden will reopen to members of the public again, which will be good because it's been closed for quite some time. Toilets we've discussed. Again, it was agreed at the last meeting that councillors would identify an empty unit that could be utilised as a community shop. The map we've discussed is at the printers. And that's all the updates, Chairman.
Thank you very much indeed. Has anybody got any items that they particularly want to add to the action plan? Councillor Pike.
Thank you. I was going to mention one item that is actually under the Environmental Working Party, but there's an overlap, and that's the waymarking project. Because one of the routes that we're surveying is from the station to the town centre. And the majority of that will probably be marked with arrow type signs, but when it gets to the town centre, there may be a need for an ornamental finger post pointing to the start of the footpath, which takes you to the station. This will be an off-road route. And that finger post probably would be somewhere at the bottom end of the Broadway, and you might want to have other fingers pointing at other things. I think the church has been mentioned in the past. So we'll probably need to coordinate on that aspect of the waymarking project. Thank you.
Councillor Stan.
Chair, thank you. It's great to see the dementia-friendly garden being reinstated. It does remind me, dementia-friendly West Berkshire reached out to a couple of people on the committee here to try to understand whether this council would make a connection with the objectives of their scheme. We haven't resolved that, and I think we've got an ideal opportunity now to sit down with them and talk about how we can create that partnership together. So if you'd be so minded, I'd like to propose that we have some sort of meeting with them to discuss how to move forward with that relationship.
Is that legitimate for us to do in the town centre? Right, fine, good, right. We'll do that. And you've got one of the town council's representatives on the West. What's it
It's
actually?
no longer happening. Dementia friendly.
Hasn't been.
It hasn't been.
I
no,
know
it's
it
not.
happened during COVID, but
Yeah, but they're not meeting in Thatcham. It stopped before
they stopped.
in Thatcham. I think they need.
So this is something that, oh, I see. So this is very much flying on
What you
the route of
found.
what you're talking about, Leader, that we need to actually get it going again.
Yeah,
Or am I misunderstanding?
You did send something that we need to look at.
exactly. I don't want to go into what
Yeah,
you're
detail.
talking about. I'm not familiar with that, but I know
Re-establish.
they've reached out to us to re-establish a
Yes.
friendly West Berkshire, and given that we have a gift to them
The
here,
garden.
given that we're doing the work, I think it would be appropriate for us to reach out to them and say, be happy to contribute
And have input, yeah.
I think there's one particular item that I'd just like to bring to everybody's attention, because of the time constraints on the responses required. A TPSO, as I can't now remember what it stands for, I won't pretend that I do, but there's it's where the police can instruct somebody who's being obstreperous, or perhaps they're worst away of a drink, can actually tell them that they may not return for a period of time, right through for as long as potentially as 24 hours. There is a public consultation. It's on all these wonderful websites and so on that I struggle with, but people that understand these things can get at them. But you can also put your comments in on a sheet of paper as well. And I have one concern that I'd particularly like people to pick up on, and that is the proposed area excludes the green sward space at the southern end of Nydicombe Close. And that was an area that really for 2 to 3 years has had regular antisocial behaviour. And I think it would be very foolish for the TPSO area to end at the southern extremity of Nydicombe Close and not include the grass which goes on for another 10, 20 yards beyond, all the way across in a westward direction. So that bit, I think it should be included, and I hope that anybody that lives in the area on the moors and so on will respond to the TPSO consultation and say, please include that area of green space as well. That would be my comment. I don't know if there's any other comments anybody wants to make about the TPSO.
No, just very supportive.
I think then that concludes our meeting.
Chairman, I was just about to congratulate you on half an hour, but I'm afraid you overspilled a little bit, but still, very well done, very well chaired.
Well done. Meeting closed, thank you.